Yes, sir. Okay. So let's start our today's topic. So yesterday we were discussing about Golgi bodies. We discussed yesterday the structure of Golgi bodies. And I told you yesterday that Golgi body has got two faces. One face is known as TGN, Trans-Golgi Network, and another is known as CGN, Cisternal Golgi Network. So what are these two sides of the Golgi body? Cisternal Golgi Network and Trans-Golgi Network. So first we will see what is CGN. CGN is the convex face of Golgi body. It is the convex surface of Golgi body. Whereas TGN Trans-Golgi network, it is that concave side of Golgi body, concave surface. So on CGN, on the cisternal Golgi network, fluid-filled vesicles from lysosomes or lysosomal vesicles. Lysosomal vesicles, they join with the cisternal Golgi network, or vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum. Vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum. They join to the Golgi body on cisternal Golgi network, on the cis face of the Golgi body. So yesterday I will draw the diagram again. So this is the cis face. I will show here you the cis face of the Golgi body. Yesterday we discussed the structure of Golgi body. This is the cis face, or we call it as cisternal Golgi network. So on this face, on this side, vesicles from lysosomes and vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum, they join and they form the cistern. When one vesicle joins with another vesicle, it joins with another vesicle. So these vesicles, they fuse together and they form the cisternae of the Golgi body. So for that reason, we call this phase of Golgi body as formative phase. Formative phase. So we call this cisternal Golgi network as formative phase. Why we call it as formative phase? Because on this side, vesicles, lysosomal vesicles and vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum, they join. When many vesicles join, they form small stretches of cisternae. Then these small stretches of cisternae, they join and they form a cistern. So on this surface of the Golgi body, cisternae are being formed. Cisternae are being formed. Cisternae are formed. So that is why we call it as formative phase. Do you understand why it is known as formative phase? Because on this side, vesicles from the endoplasmic reticulum and lysosomal vesicles, they join together. When small vesicles join together, then they form the cisterna. So cisternae are continuously being formed on this phase. That is why we call it as formative phase of Golgi body. We call this phase of Golgi body as maturation phase. Maturation phase. Why we call it as maturation phase? Because on this side of the Golgi body, these swollen tips, they are pinched off. Swollen tips are pinched off in the form of vesicles, the form of fluid-filled vesicles. So on this side, the Golgi cisternae, they mature. They pinch off vesicles. And these vesicles, they are known as the Golgi vesicles. So on this side, the cisternae, they are reduced in size. On this side, cisternae enlarge in size. They are being formed. On this side, the cisternae slowly break into small vesicles, right? So on this side, the size of cisternae decreases by forming vesicles. So for that reason, we call it as maturation phase. Because on this side, the Golgi produces the vesicles, fluid-filled vesicles, which are meant for transport of materials out of the cell or into the cytoplasm of the cell. So for that purpose, we call this phase of the Golgi body as maturation phase, right? So from this side, there is transit of materials. From this side, there is transit of materials. Materials are being transported. They are being ferried either out of the cell or into the cytoplasm of the cell. So for that purpose, we call it as TGN, Trans-Golgi network. trans-Golgi network. Why we call it trans-Golgi network? Because there is transit of materials. Materials are being secreted either out of the cell or into the cytoplasm of the cell. So for that reason, this is known as TGN, trans-Golgi network. We call this side as cisternal Golgi network. Why we call it as cisternal Golgi network? Because on this side, the cisternae are being formed. Cisternae are being formed. So vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, they combine and they form the cisternae. So for that reason, we call it as cisternal Golgi network, because cisternae are being formed. On this side, materials are being secreted. Materials are being transported either out of the cell or into the cytoplasm of the cell. So there is transit of materials. There is transit of materials, right? So for that purpose, we call this side as TGN, trans-Golgi network, right? We also call this side as formative phase. We also call this side as maturation phase. So that is all about the structure of Golgi. And these small fluid-filled vesicles, they are known as Golgi vesicles. These small fluid-filled structures, they are known as Golgi vesicles. They will pour the materials either out of the cell or they will release the materials inside the cytoplasm of the cell. So that is about the structure of Golgi bodies. Now, what is the function of this Golgi body? What is the function of this Golgi body? As I told you yesterday, that Golgi bodies, they are commonly known as post office of the cell. So what do you understand by post office? As I just told you, it receives materials. Golgi body is known as post office of the cell. So this Golgi body, it receives materials on one side. Where from it receives materials? It receives materials from lysosome. It receives materials from endoplasmic reticulum. Then it packs those materials in small vesicles and it adds an address to those fluid-filled vesicles. Now, as the Golgi body receives materials, suppose Golgi body receives from endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body receives proteins. From endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body receives lipids, right? From endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body receives some steroid hormone, right? So Golgi body continuously receives materials from endoplasmic reticulum. It concentrates these materials. Golgi body concentrates, it collects the materials and concentrates them. It sorts them out. Then it packs them. Into separate vesicles. Then Golgi body adds an address to the vesicles. Golgi body describes whether the vesicle is to be secreted out of the cell, whether the contents of the vesicle are to be secreted out of the cell by exocytosis, or whether the contents of the vesicle are to be released in cytoplasm, right? So that address to these vesicles is added by Golgi body. And then these vesicles, they may be either discharged out by exocytosis. The vesicles may release their contents out of the cell by exocytosis, or they may release these contents in the cytoplasm of the cell, right? So what is the function of post office? A post office, for example, we have got a post office in Sopore. It receives letters from all over the world. It may receive letters from America, Britain, Japan, China, or from the Indian states, other Indian states, right? It receives the letters, it reads the address on them, then according to the address, it disposes of those letters. It sends those letters to those specific person. Suppose I get a letter from America. It will first reach to post office Sopore. At the post office Sopore, the postman that will read the address to whom this letter is addressed to. He will read there is Tariq Ahmad Mata written on it, Maulana Nyangli, right? Then the postman of this side will carry this letter to me. Similarly, Golgi body will receive the materials either from lysosome or from endoplasmic reticulum. right? It will sort them out. Like the post office, there may not be only letter for me. There may be letters for different individuals of our same locality. So postman will collect all those letters together. He will read the address. He will sort out the letters according to the name of the mohalla. He will sort out letters which are supposed to be delivered at Ningli mohalla. He will sort them out. He will sort out the letters which are to be delivered at Hatisha mohalla. He will sort out the letters which are delivered to be at Jamekadi mohalla, right? So these letters are sorted out. And then postman delivers them to our homes, right? Similarly, Golgi body receives the materials from lysosomes from endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi body sorts them out. Golgi body sorts those materials out. After sorting out them, Golgi body concentrates them. It accumulates them at one place, right? Then Golgi body packs them into vesicles. Golgi body packs them into vesicles. A specific type of protein will be packed in a separate vesicle. Another type of protein will be packed in another vesicle. Other types of proteins will be packed in other vesicles. Similarly, lipids will be packed in separate vesicles. Steroids will be packed in separate vesicles. So it packs those materials in separate vesicles according to their type, right? Then Golgi body adds an address to it. Golgi body adds a stamp to it in the form of, for example, mannose 6-phosphate. Mannose 6-phosphate. It is a sugar. So Golgi body adds a sugar label to it. And according to this address, these vesicles, Golgi vesicles, they may release the content out of the cell by exocytosis, or they may release the contents within the cytoplasm of the cell, right? So that is why we call Golgi body as post office of the cell. So it receives the materials from different locations, it sorts them out, it packs them separately, then it adds an address to it. Then those vesicles having a specific address, according to the address, they may deliver the materials out of the cell by exocytosis, or they may release the materials into the cytoplasm of the cell. So secretion is the first function of Golgi body. Secretion is the first function of Golgi body. Now, what does Golgi body secrete? A Golgi body may secrete proteins. A Golgi body may secrete lipids. A Golgi body may secrete steroids. A Golgi body may secrete enzymes. A Golgi body may secrete hormones, right? So it receives the materials, it packs them, it concentrates them, packs them, then it secretes those materials, right? So secretion is the main function of Golgi body. It may deliver these materials, proteins, lipids, steroids, hormones, enzymes out of the cell by exocytosis. So that is the first function of Golgi body, secretion, right? Then Golgi body also is involved. Another function of the Golgi body. Hard to rub today. Golgi body is involved in recycling of plasma membrane. Recycling of plasma membrane. You know, a cell is continuously making endocytosis. This cell membrane, it continuously invaginates. It makes little invagination. These little invaginations, which are fluid filled, they are known as pinosomes. Or sometimes this cell, it may engulf solid food particles. These are known as endosomes. So an animal cell is continuously making intake of some liquid droplets from the surrounding environment in the form of pinosomes. You know, pinocytosis is known as cell drinking. Pinocytosis. we also call it as cell drinking. And endocytosis, we also call it as cell eating. So these are two continuous processes which are on in animal cells. Animal cells are continuously making intake of liquid droplets from their environment by the process of pinocytosis. Animal cells are continuously picking up some solid particulate matter from their environment. That is known as endocytosis or cell eating. So when these pinosomes and endosomes are released into the cytoplasm of the cell, they cut the stretches of plasma membrane which surrounds them. This segment of plasma membrane which made invagination, which made inward movement, it gets cut. This segment of plasma membrane which made inward movement, it gets cut. This segment of plasma membrane which surrounds the solid wood particle, it also gets cut. So plasma membrane is continuously being cut and the surface area of the cell is continuously decreasing. Surface area is continuously decreasing because of pinocytosis, because of endocytosis. The plasma membrane of the cell is continuously cut and these vesicles are released in the cytoplasm. So the surface area of plasma membrane is continuously decreasing. If this process continues for a long period, then the cell will shrink in size. The cell will become smaller and smaller and the size of the cell will shrink. So then that means our tissues will shrink. But that doesn't happen. These vesicles which are released into the cytoplasm by pinocytosis or by endocytosis, they fuse with the lysosome. Of the cell. Lysosomes are involved in intracellular digestion. So lysosomes digest their contents. So for that purpose, they fuse with the lysosome. When the digestion is complete, when these two vesicles fuse together, their digestion is complete. Then this lysosome, it joins with the Golgi body on the cisternal phase, on the formative phase. This lysosome then joins back with the Golgi body on the cisternal phase or formative phase. So this part of the plasma membrane is now added to Golgi body. Now as Golgi body releases its vesicles, when those vesicles make exocytosis, this is a Golgi vesicle, it fuses with the plasma membrane and it carries out exocytosis, it releases the material. The covering membrane of this vesicle, it joins with the plasma membrane. So on one side, plasma membrane is being continuously cut. On another side, the plasma membrane is being continuously added back through Golgi vesicles. So this continuous cutting of plasma membrane by pinocytosis, by endocytosis, and this continuous adding of plasma membrane by Golgi vesicles, this makes the recycling of plasma membrane. So on one side, plasma membrane is being continuously cut, and on another side, through Golgi vesicles, plasma membrane is continuously being formed, right? So in this way, the overall size of the cell, overall surface area of the cell remains constant, right? So this is known as recycling of plasma membrane and it involves Golgi body. This is another function of a Golgi body. In addition to this recycling of plasma membrane, Golgi body is also involved in formation of cell plate. What is cell plate? Also called as what is cell plate also known as? We also call it as middle lambda. Golgi body is also involved in formation of the cell plate, middle lambda, in plant cells. As I told you earlier, when the plant cells divide, when they undergo mitosis or meiosis. This plant cell, it is bounded externally by a rigid cell wall. So this cell wall doesn't divide by invagination. This cell wall cannot invaginate because it is rigid and hard structure. So how does this plant cell then divide? This plant cell internally lays a partition in its cytoplasm. This partition which is laid in the cytoplasm of plant cell is known as middle lamella, or we call it as cell plate. And this middle lamella or cell plate, it is laid by the help of Golgi bodies. It is laid by the help of Golgi bodies. As I have told you, it is formed of calcium and magnesium peptide. So Golgi bodies, they synthesize, they secrete calcium and magnesium peptide. And that calcium and magnesium peptide forms the middle lamella or the cell plate in the plant cells. So this is another function of Golgi body, formation of cell plate or middle lamella at the time of cell division in plant cells. Golgi bodies, they are also involved in vitellogenesis. Vitellogenesis. Vitellogenesis means formation of yolk. Formation of yolk in eggs. As you know, this yolk, it is a lipid. Yolk is entirely lipid. So this lipid, it is accumulated, it is received by Golgi body concentrates it, and then Golgi body turns this lipid into yolk and it forms the yolk of the eggs, right? So this vitellogenesis, formation of yolk in the eggs, it is the function of Golgi body. Similarly, Golgi body is also involved in formation of acrosome. Acrosome of mammalian sperm. Mammalian sperm. You know, mammalian sperm, it has got a head. In the head, it possesses a nucleus containing chromosomes in it. Then on the top of the nucleus, there is a granule which is surrounded by a membrane. This granule, it is known as acrosome. In this acrosome, there are enzymes known as sperm lysins. Sperm lysins. These sperm lysins, they penetrate. They are used in penetration. In penetration of the ovum. These sperm lysins, they penetrate the coverings of the ovum. Human ovum is covered externally by some protective coverings. There is a zona pellucida. This is zona pellucida, a glycoprotein covering. Outside zona pellucida, then there are corona radiata cells. There are cell layers. So a sperm has to cross these cell layers and this glycoprotein layer. This is corona radiata. Corona radiata, right? This is zona pellucida. When a sperm comes in contact with this human ovum, it releases sperm lysins from its acrosome. And these enzymes, they digest this corona radiata cell layer. And they make the way for the sperm to enter into the ovum, right? So this acrosome of the sperm, which is essential for the penetration of sperm into ovum, this is also synthesized by, this is also made by Golgi body, right? So these are some important functions of the Golgi body. These are some important functions of the Golgi body. Some lysosomes. Lysosomes are also formed by Golgi body. Lysosomes, they are having lysosomal enzymes in them. Those lysosomal enzymes, they are packed by Golgi body into a vesicle which fuses with the endocytotic vesicle to form the active lysosomes. So formation of lysosome, that is also facilitated by Golgi body. So these are functions of Golgi body. So that is all about Golgi bodies. Now after Golgi body, we are going to discuss another cell organ. After Golgi bodies, we are going to discuss about ribosomes. Sweating profusely. Ribosomes. You know, ribosomes, they are commonly known as protein factories of the cell. Ribosomes are commonly known as protein factories of the cell. These ribosomes, they were discovered by Robinson and Brown in 1953 in plant cells, and Palade in 1955 discovered them in animal cells. So they were independently discovered in plant cells and animal cells. In plant cells, ribosomes were discovered by Robinson and Brown in 1953. In animal cells, these ribosomes were discovered by Palade in 1955. So they are also sometimes known as Palade particles. Ribosomes are also sometimes known as Palade particles. So why ribosomes are also sometimes known as Palade particles? Because they were discovered in animals by Palade in 1955. These ribosomes, they are formed of, what is their chemical composition? Of what material they are formed of? They are formed of ribosomal RNA and proteins. So for that reason, ribosomes are also known as ribosomes are also known as they are also known as RNP. What is RNP? Ribonucleoprotein particles. RNP, ribonucleoprotein particles. Why ribonucleoprotein particles? Because they are formed of ribosomal RNA. They are formed of ribosomal RNA plus protein. That is why they are also known as RNP, ribonucleoprotein particles, right? So now you know that these ribosomes, they are formed of ribosomal RNA and proteins. These ribosomes, they are non-membrane bound organelles of the cell. Ribosomes are also known as non-membrane bound organelles of the cell. They are not covered by any covering membrane. We studied nucleus. We found that nucleus is covered by a double nuclear membrane. We discussed mitochondria. We found that this mitochondria is also covered by a double mitochondrial membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. We discussed Golgi bodies. We found that Golgi cisternae, they are covered by plasma membranes, right? But these ribosomes, they are not covered by any plasma membrane. So for that reason, they are known as non-membrane bound organelles of the cell, right? These ribosomes, they are of two types. In eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells, we find that ribosomes are of different types. In eukaryotic cells, ribosomes are of two types: 70S ribosomes and 80S ribosomes. In eukaryotic cells, there are two types of ribosomes: 70S ribosomes and 80S ribosomes. In eukaryotic cells, these 70S ribosomes, they are only confined to cell organelles, to certain cell organelles. 70S ribosomes of eukaryotic cells are not found free in the cytoplasm. They are only possessed in some cell organelles. like mitochondria, like plastids. So 70S ribosomes of eukaryotic cells are not found free in the cytoplasm. They are only contained in some cell organelles, like mitochondria or like plastids, right? Whereas 80S ribosomes of the eukaryotic cell, they may be found free in the cytoplasm or they may be attached to rough endoplasmic reticulum, right? So in eukaryotic cells, we may find two types of ribosomes. 70S ribosomes only confined to some cell organelles, and 80S ribosomes found free in cytoplasm, or they may be attached to rough endoplasmic reticulum, right? However, in prokaryotic cells, there is only 70S ribosome. As we discussed in prokaryotic cell, we discussed the ribosomes there. Prokaryotic cells, they have only 70S ribosomes, which may be free in the cytoplasm, or they may be attached to some membrane, right? So these are the types of ribosomes. So in eukaryotic cells, there are 70S and 80S. 70S ribosomes are only confined to certain cell organelles like mitochondria and plastids, whereas 80S ribosomes may be free in the cytoplasm, or they may be present on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum. In prokaryotic cells, the ribosomes are only 70S type, and they may be free in the cytoplasm, or they may be attached to some membrane. Right? Now, we have to discuss the structure of these ribosomes, 70S ribosome and 80S ribosome. But unfortunately, we are this time running out of time, or time has ended. So I will end the class here, and we will discuss the structure of ribosomes in next lecture. Okay, thank you for being with me.